Hi, and welcome. You're listening to the X22 Report. My name is Dave, and this is episode 883A, and today's date is February 2nd, 2016, and the title of the episode is U.S. Debt Rises to $19 Trillion, while the U.S. Economic Freedom falls to 11th place. Now, before I get started, I just want to make an announcement. Tomorrow, Wednesday, in the morning, I'll be uploading an interview with Rob Kirby. We talk about the shadow government. We talk about the collapsing economy. If you're on the X22 Report email alert system, you'll get an email. If you subscribe to the X22 Report Spotlight YouTube channel, YouTube should send you an email. If not, just come right over to YouTube. Go right to X22 Report Spotlight. You'll see the video there. You can view it right on YouTube. Or you can come over to the x22report.com site. Scroll down a little bit. You'll see it on the right-hand side. Or you can go to newssentinel.com. That is the news site where I'm streaming in alternative media into one location. You can see the video. Just look over to your right-hand side. You'll see the video on that site. Let's get right into the economic collapse financial news. Now, the corporate media, the governments around the world, they love to tell you how everything is doing, and every time either unemployment, GDP, or any of the numbers move up or down, maybe a 0.5% or 1%, they tell you, you see, we're in this incredible recovery. Well, the Eurozone is out there, and they're making a really big deal that their unemployment has moved down from 10.5% to 10.4%. And they're saying, yes, the Eurozone, we're in this incredible recovery. It can't be stopped. Well, this is ridiculous because unemployment fluctuates all the time. And 0.1% is absolutely meaningless at this time. Even if it went up to 10.6, it really doesn't tell us anything. And what we are seeing, and if you look at the big picture and you step back, we notice that unemployment really hasn't changed since 2008. It stayed in this range, and it is absolutely awful. It's like saying, oh, look, our unemployment is at 30%. Now we're at 29.9%. Oh, my God, we're in this incredible recovery. Everyone's getting jobs. No. Because the 0.1 percentage is absolutely meaningless in either direction. If you step back, you see it's flatlined. It has gone absolutely nowhere. Nothing has changed. The economies are still failing. And here in the United States, as more and more people are being laid off, more and more people who have part-time jobs who can't pay their rent and are being forced out of their homes, we notice that the homeless situation is getting worse and worse in cities across the United States. Many cities are seeing the number of homeless people soar. In New York, for instance, the homeless population increased by 42%. And people are becoming very upset about this. We have all these homeless people here. And we can't have this. But it's getting so bad where it's just not those people where we say, oh, look at the bum, look at the person who doesn't want to work. These are families now. These are people who want to work who can't find jobs. These are people that have been forced out because there are no jobs. Something we saw back in 1929. And experts right now, they're saying, well, there's a variety of factors that fuel homelessness. Yeah, how about they can't find work? Or they had a high-paying job, and now they have one part-time job. They lost their home. They don't have enough to move into an apartment, and they have trouble making ends meet. We're seeing this happen in San Francisco. We're seeing it in Miami. We see it happening in Atlanta and many other cities around the country. And we're seeing that this will increase as time goes on. We're getting reports that there's more layoffs. Dow Chemical, 500 more people are going to be laid off. Here's an update to BP, 7,000 by the end of 2017. Update for Newport News Shipbuilding, 700 plus for Wednesday. Yahoo is going to be laying off 15%. 15% of its workforce. It is getting worse and worse as time goes on. And these people, as we continually lay off, where are they going to find the job? Because especially in the tech sector, as more and more of these companies lay off people, they're not going to be hiring. There is no hiring. I mean, HSBC right now has a hiring freeze, a salary freeze, and a cost of living freeze. And we're going to see a lot of companies start to implement this. A lot of them have already done this. And as time goes on, it's going to get worse. Especially when we start seeing inflation like Canada, where we see things going up very, very quickly. And those people who are retired, guess what? They're on a fixed income. It's going to be very difficult to survive on what they're making, on what the food and how the food is going up in price. Those people who are families, who are set in their salary, this is going to take a toll on their family dynamics. And this will continue, and this is not just in Canada. This is happening across the globe, and eventually it will hit here in the United States. It's the last stop. It's coming back to the source. And we see manufacturing is continually declining. The ISM New York printed at 54.6, plunging most since August. And December, it was at 62, and it has completely collapsed. ISM revenues collapsed to 45.8 from 60. We see the Baltic Dry Index fall. It has declined another 4 points, down to 310. I don't know where anyone's seeing the economy improving. Yes, we have the talking heads, the corporate media, the U.S. government, the central banks, using propaganda to convince everyone, keeping the illusion alive. But when we look at these real economic facts, all we see is a decline. All we see is a collapse. And to add to all of this, the U.S. debt, which is reported and presented to the public, and we know there is a shadow debt, but let's use the debt that we just see because it's at 19 trillion. And we have to remember that when Obama took office, the debt was around 10.6 trillion. It is almost doubled. Actually, by the time he leaves office, it will be doubled. How possibly can the U.S. government support this debt on the revenue coming in from part-time workers? Think about this for a second. As more and more full-time jobs disappear and more part-time jobs are created, there is less revenue coming into the government. And we can see this is why they needed to create Obamacare to bring in tax revenue. This is why they want a carbon tax. This is why the IMF is calling for a 10% wealth tax, because the debt level is ridiculously high and cannot be sustained. Now, of course, yes, the U.S. has the ability through the Fed to create funds. And this sounds fantastic, and people saying, oh, they can create this currency forever, until all the other nations around the globe say, okay, we just lost all credibility. The debt is way too high. We know they can never repay it, and the dollar starts losing value. People look at it and say, okay, this whole thing cannot be supported, and we don't want to loan, or we don't want to do business with, or whatever the reason is. This is when the whole thing falls apart, and we are approaching that point. Now, while the debt is continually moving up, we see the economic freedom. The ranking for the United States has fallen to 11th place during the Obama administration. Now, when we were growing up, when I was younger, we were taught that America was the freest country in the world in every conceivable way. that you could start your own business, you can do whatever you want to do, and you have an easy time doing it. Well, it seems that has kind of changed at this point. The Heritage Foundation, which released the 2016 Index for Economic Freedom, found that we went from 6th place when Obama took office to 11th place. Now, when they pass the TPP, guess what? The economic freedom is going to drop even further. If you ever notice, whenever the government decides to meddle in free markets, education, and everything else, they seem to destroy everything. And the reasons the Heritage Foundation dropped the ranking include the following: the explosion of government spending and debt, the government takeover of healthcare sector, the bailouts of failing companies. They've seen an expansion of bureaucratic powers and regulation. They've created a crony system that awards some companies and punishes others. Entrepreneurship is also falling. The U.S. is now ranked 49th globally when it comes to the ease of starting a new business. Do you know back in 1995, when the Heritage Foundation first started ranking the economic freedoms, the U.S. was in 4th place? I mean, this is absolutely awful. This shows us that we are headed in the wrong direction. This shows us that we don't want to be headed in this direction. But our government employees, those people who tell us that this is good for us, well, guess what? It is not. This system is falling apart. America is being ripped apart. And from education to economic freedom to freedom itself, we are losing it all. And guess what? They just don't care. And as this system continually falls apart and the economy continually declines, everyone better be ready for what is coming. Because when it hits, it's going to hit hard. All of this information about manufacturing and everything that we've been covering, real estate, retail, is all going to come to the surface. Remember back in 2008 when the market completely collapsed and all of a sudden all these companies were saying we have to lay off, we have to cut. Oh, there was a subprime crisis. That's going. Lehman went out of business. Everything just started hitting the fan all at once. Well, this time it's going to be so bad that it's going to have people's heads spinning around, not understanding what is going on. And this is why everyone needs to be prepared. This is why you need your food. This is why you need your medical supplies. This is why you need your toiletries, your water, your weapon, cash on hand, gold and silver. You need to be prepared for what is coming. You don't want to be out there trying to get these supplies, because you know it's going to be chaos. If you haven't started, you can go to lifereliance.com. They have bug out bags, they have seeds, water filtration systems. You can customize your order. But whatever you're doing, you need to start doing this at this point. There is no reason to wait, because those who are thinking, oh, you know what? I have time, I'll just wait, it's not a big deal. You're going to find yourself, when everything starts to fall apart and the market starts coming down, 3,000, 4,000, 5,000, 6,000 points, you're going to see people panic. And you're going to start to panic. And you're going to realize, oh, maybe I should have done this ahead of time, because now I'm getting nervous and scared. And this is why everyone needs to start doing it now if you haven't started already. Listen, everyone, thanks a lot for listening. Be well, be safe, and especially be prepared. Thanks a lot.